Thank you for tuning in for the Couch's Perspective. This is your host JB. I will going over y'all the board. I promise y'all. Now this right here is the draft board for the Atlanta Falcons. I got every pick here. We got pick 116 all the way to 228 here for the Falcons. We got the ex-Falcons here. Austin Hooper went to the Browns, who we're gonna miss, but we got Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst is a smaller guy, but he's more of a faster tight end. So we'll see how that works out. Wes Schweitzer, we really don't need him. He was a guard. We got pushed around a lot. He was a late pick. And we got Vic Beasley here, who, you know, he had one pass rush move in most of his career with the Falcons. And we just don't need that no more. We got Dante Fowler to fill that gap. Desmond Trufant, he was one of those zone corners who fit our game in the beginning, but as we get more man-to-man with Dan Quinn, he really didn't fit the mold for the Falcons, so we need to move on from him because he was more of a zone corner who didn't like to get physical in the man-to-man. Devondre Campbell, I had nothing bad to say about him. He was a good player for the Falcons. He made a lot of tackles. He improved his game every time we asked him to make the call. He was always there to do it. So Adrian Claiborne, he was an older guy who came in with a lot of pass rushes for the Falcons 2 years ago, but this year he's getting a little older, so we had to let him go. He went to the Browns. Jack Crawford was a small interior defensive lineman, and he was more of a small stature, and we're trying to move on from that and get somebody with more beef to fill in and to expose the guards of the other team. We got the mock draft here that we got from 1 through 7. I'm going to go through my picks, who I like. We got free agency here. We got Ty Gurley this year. We got Dante Fowler. We got Tyler Davidson, who we signed back, who's already on the team. We got Laquan Treadwell, who needs to prove himself if he want to be a part of the best wide receiving core in the NFL. Justin McCray, he's a guard that came from Green Bay Packers, and he went to the Browns, so he's a good veteran piece for that left guard spot if he can make it. All right. And we got Hayden Hurst out of the trade. We gave up a 2nd and a 5th round pick for him, and we gained a 4th round in return. So this is our offense here. We got Julio Jones, Jake Matthews, got question marks at the left guard position. We have Alex Mack, Chris Lindstrom from last year, and we got our other 1st round pick from last year, Caleb McGarry, Hayden Hurst at tight end, Calvin Ridley. And we Ty Gurley, Matt Ryan, and Keith Smith. So defense over here, we got Isaiah Oliver, who starts, Rico Allen back there, Full Alucon, that's right there, he's a linebacker. We got Tat McKinley, Grady Jarrett, Tyler Davidson, Dante Fowler that we just acquired from the Rams. We got question marks at the linebacker position, and we're going to need to address in the draft. Kendall Sheffield at the other side of the corner. Keanu O'Neal, he had back-to-back injuries, so he needs to get back healthy and see what kind of player he's going to be coming up. So we may need to get a replacement for him or see what's going on with his knee. Okay, let's get into the draft, my picks. My 1st round pick, people say that we're going to move up. We move up in the draft to get anybody. My pick would be, and I'm going to write it big, Derek Brown from Auburn. Derek Brown is a guy who's going to penetrate that gap, like I was saying in my previous video. Penetrate that gap. He's going to fit in right here with Tyler Davidson. Okay? He's going to be here where Tyler Davidson is. Tyler Davidson coming in on 3rd down. Him and Tyler Davidson on 3rd down and on short, and will stop any run penetration, and he will penetrate the gap on guards, and he will get to the middle of when Drew Brees steps up in that pocket and Tom Brady steps up in the pocket. He'll be there to push them back and let those edge rushers collapse on them. Okay? So I will go with Derek Brown if we move it up in the draft. But if we don't, I'm going with my 1st round pick. I'm going with Grant Delpit, LSU. Grant Delpit is a guy you can't pass on if you're at 16. If he's at 16, you don't pass on Grant Delpit. He is a star. He's a playmaker. He's a guy that's in the backfield who's going to run that backfield to the T. He's going to put people in spots just like he did with LSU. He's a playmaker. He's a game wrecker. He got to work on his tackling a little bit, but I think that he'll work on that as his body fill out. He's still young. So he can play either Rico or Keanu O'Neal's spot. So I'm happy with that pick right there. So I will go with Grant Delpit at that pick. 2nd round pick, I'm going with I'm going with Malik Harrison, linebacker out of OSU, out of Ohio State. He's a linebacker. He's a thumper. He's one of those guys who's going to fill in that gap. As soon as the run comes in, he's going to penetrate that gap and collapse on it. That's one of the guys that I like in this draft. He's a guy who can also play coverage linebacker, so he's not limited to just run stopping. He has range as well. So he's solid on the sideline. Him and Deion Jones would be great combo to stopping a lot of the runs and the intermediate passes. So I like Malik Harrison at that pick. My next pick will be third round pick. Logan Stanberg out of Kentucky. Logan Stanberg is a left guard. He's a left guard that can fill in this gap right here. Okay, he's a bruiser. He's a brawler. He's a big physical. I think he's like 6'5", 331. He's one of those guys from Alabama who will just eat you up in space. Okay, so that's one of the guys that I liked in the Senior Bowl. He played great with his hands. He anchored down. He know how to anchor on his back foot and stabilize the pass rush. So I like him at that pick right there, and I'm going to enjoy watching him on Sundays because that'll be a great pick for the Falcons. The next pick I will pick on the fourth round selection. One second. Kenny Wilkes out of Michigan State. Michigan State has Kenny Wilkes. Michigan State had a player who walked on to the campus and made a name for himself. Kenny Wilkes have a tremendous amount of talent. He's a little small in stature. I think he's about 256, about 6'4". But this guy right here is a walk-on talent who walked on to Michigan State. And he proved himself on Michigan State and had a ton of talent. And plus, he had a lot of tackles for loss in Michigan State. And he had a lot of sacks to go with it. So he's more of a high motor defensive end. But he's going to feel in good if Tapp McKinley slacks off this year like he did last year, only had 3.5 sacks, which is poor. Tapp, I need that hair to get cut because I see you on Instagram, the hair ain't cut yet. So Kenny Wilkes can be a great player to fill in, high motor guy who can edge rush real good to get to the quarterback. So I like him at that fourth round pick. The next pick I'm going to have to go with is Lamar Jackson, not the quarterback, Lamar Jackson, I wish. Lamar Jackson from Nebraska. He's a cornerback. He's real tall. He's like 6'3" cornerback. And he's got a long wingspan. And he's one of those guys that I like because he's one of the guys who's a press corner. You got guys that get in your face. He has good instinct of the ball. And he can track the ball real good when the ball is in the air. And that's one of the guys who I like to be on the Falcons squad. A 6'3" corner is something that you like. He come up and hit you. If you run the ball, he'll stop you. So he's good. I hope he falls to that fourth round, and he'll be a good pickup for the Falcons. The last pick. Glenn Logan from LSU. Glenn Logan was a guy who came in. He is his brother's in the NFL now, Benny Logan. He played for LSU as well. These is a family tree full of defensive tackles. These guys eat people up in space. If you put him in a phone booth, he's gonna win every time. So this is one of the guys that I like that came from LSU. He gave us great production at LSU. He wasn't as big as you think he was. He was an outstanding name, but he played his role at LSU. And I think he'll play his role good with the Falcons. I think he'll make the team at that 7th pick. These guys right here, this is my draft board and this is my picks. Like I said, I'll go with Derek Bryant, but this right here is where I'll go with if the Falcons stand still at 16. So thank you for choosing Captain's Perspective. This is your host, JB. Once again, please like, subscribe, comment, and leave the comments below. Negative, good comments, it really don't matter. I get back to you. So make sure that you hit that notification bell so you get videos like this all the time on your phone when I present them. This is the Captain's Perspective. I'm out.